Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I talk about the river erosion, transportation and the deposition. So here we'll see this basically these three important activities that can take place within a river channel. That is the river erosion, that is the loading of materials, transportation, that is the transporting of those eroded materials, and the deposition, that is the depositing of the eroded materials. So let's start with the concept of river. So here we'll discuss basically what is river. River refers to a mass of water flowing through a definite channel over a landscape from a river source to a river mouth. So a mass of water that is flowing through a definite channel or a non-substantial channel over a certain landscape from its source to the mouth is what we call a river. Now, what do we mean when we say a river source? A river source is the place where a river starts. So basically it's an origin of a river. It can either be a spring or it may be melt water that from glacier. Example, this is found in a river Rome, that is in France, and it can be either originated from a lake. Example, this is Lake Victoria, that is the source of river Nile. River mouth can be anywhere, can be either anywhere where a river pours its water. So basically a place where a river ends and pours its water from its channel is what we call a river mouth. Example, it can pour to a lake, ocean or a sea. So let's start seeing this river erosion. Erosion of a river operates basically in three ways. That is headward erosion, vertical erosion and lateral erosion. Starting with the headward erosion. Headward erosion, this is the cutting back of a river at its source. So basically it means that the cutting down or the tearing up of a river at its source. It is through this erosion that a river increases its length. So that's what is known as the headward erosion. When I talk about the vertical erosion, this is the erosion by which a river deepens its channel. So as we have seen there, vertical, it means it deepens its height and its channel basically. So that's all about vertical erosion. And when we talk about the lateral erosion, this is the wearing away of the sides of a river by water and its load. So basically it is the responsible for the widening of a river valley. Now this means that lateral erosion, it causes a river to widen up and to move in a larger space or in a larger channel. So those are basically the three important ways that occur or that operate in a river erosion. Let's see the processes that involved in a river erosion. We've already seen those three ways that occur in a river erosion. Now river erosion involves four related processes. Now these are abrasion or corrosion, attrition, corrosion or solution, and hydraulic action. Starting with the first one, that is hydraulic action. Hydraulic action, this is the process whereby the force of moving water plugs and sweeps away loose materials such as silt, gravel, and pebbles. So basically here, the force of water, that pressure and that force of water causes the tearing up, or it swipes away those loose material that can be found in a river channel. Now materials that are plugged by hydraulic action are responsible for bank carving and slumping. So those materials, or the deposited materials that you see in the river bank, are originated or are from the process of this hydraulic action. Moving on, the second is abrasion. Now this is when the load of a river rubs against the bed and the sides of a river channel. So this causes wearing away of the sides and the bed of the river. So basically in this process, there is a rubbing against of the materials that run within a river channel. Now the amount of load determines the nature of erosion power and the rate of erosion. So amount of load that is carried out in the river will determine the amount of abrasion process, because this is the rubbing against of these materials against the bed of the river and the sides of the river channel. Now this is the source of these potholes in the river bed. Moving on, the other one is attrition. Now this is when the rock fragments in the river's road are broken into smaller fragments due to collision against one another as the road is carried downstream along the river channel. So attrition occurs as these roads that are carried down the river channel are colliding to each other, that makes them to wear away each other. Now as the river moves along its course, its fragments get progressively small because of disintegration and wearing away. So the materials are worn out when there is a more of this activity, that is attrition process. The other one is the collision or solution. River water dissolves certain minerals that leads to the dissolution and the disappearance of some rocks. Some rocks such as limestone, rock salt, and chalk. These rocks disappear due to the dissolution when they dissolve in water. Let's see the river transportation. This is the process by which involves carrying away of the weathered and eroded loose materials from one place to another. Now the materials carried out by the river are what we call the load, and the river transports loads in various four ways. These ways are as follows. The first one is that is sortation. This is a process in which these small pieces of the rock fragments are carried by river while bouncing on the river bed. So sortation involves the bouncing of these materials carried by the pressure and the force of water, bouncing of these materials on the river bed or channel. The other one is the traction. This is the dragging or rolling of the large boulders such as pebbles along its river bed. So traction involves the dragging and the rolling of these large boulders such as pebbles along its river channel. The other one is suspension. Suspension, this is it involves transportation of fine or light particles like silt and mud, which are carried in a suspension form. Suspension form means that they are in a form of a suspension whereby these materials they dissolve, but not totally, they dissolve partially in the water. So this is common when the river flow is too strong. The other one is the solution. This involves moving some of the materials that dissolve in water, which are carried away in a solution form. So we already seen the materials that can dissolve in water. Example, the limestone rocks can dissolve and they can be transported easily throughout the river channel. The other one that a river transports its load until it has insufficient energy to transport it in any further. So a river transportation will end when there is no sufficient energy to carry the materials. Now after this process, when the river has insufficient energy, then the river deposition starts. So let's see the river deposition. River deposition is when the river deposits its load when its volume and its speed decreases. As we already said that when a river speed and the river volume decreases, so there is no any further activity of transportation. That's where deposition occurs. A river volume decreases when there are these factors. That first one, when it enters an arid region, especially a hot desert, whereby the water volume might decrease, leading to the deposition of the materials that were carried out in the river channel. The other is that it crosses a region composed of porous rocks, example sand and limestone, and during the dry seasons or in the period of drought. So this occurs, the river volume decreases during these three factors included. while a river speed decreases when it enters a lake or sea, because there is a large volume of water occupying in a lake or sea, so river speed decreases. The other one is that when it enters a flat or gently sloping plain, such as a valley bottom. Now, a deposition takes place when the river has insufficient energy to carry its load. As we've said before, the first part of the load that is dropped consists of boulders and pebbles, and the last part that is dropped is the fine sediment that is called silt. Deposition takes place at any point in the river course. So that's all for this video. Thank you for listening. I hope it's clear. We've talked about the three main activities that take place in the river: river erosion, river transportation, and the river deposition. Thank you.